So here we have Bounce, and that's just his stable name. His jockey club name is He's All Out, Hez All Out, and he is a 17 hand 4 year old thoroughbred gelding by Flat Out. And I've had this kid for going on a year now. It's just an insane story. I feel like I've talked about it on Facebook a little bit in the last couple of months since everything has turned out well. I could not bring myself to talk about it for the first 6 or 7 months that I had him because it was just too hard. And it's so hard putting things like what happened with Bounce out there on the internet because everybody is an armchair expert and wants to give you, and usually with the best of intentions, wants to give you their advice. But at the end of the day, when you're facing a hard medical situation or hard any sort of situation with a horse, for me, I just have to surround myself with my close group of people, my vets, my farriers, my husband, my closest friends, and I just sort of have to insulate myself from the whole outside of everyone else. So I didn't talk about Bounce publicly until I think end of April or early May when it became clear that he had bounced back and he was going to be just fine. So my roller coaster with Bounce started on his right after his last race, which was October 29th, 2025, so last fall. He never broke his maiden in 7 starts, so just horrible racehorse. Good contact of mine up in Indiana posted him. I talked to her about him. I knew I wanted him right away because he's big and beautiful, and I love his pedigree, and he just has this gorgeous sport horse look about him. So I think I bought him like the day after his last race. He was here a couple of days later. He might have been here on like November 1st or 2nd. Then a couple of days after he first got here, I went to do sort of like his introductory groundwork session out in the ring, as I do with every single horse that comes through my program. I never just take them out to the ring and just get on. I always give them at least one day, sometimes several days of just coming out to the ring and getting used to it and feeling acquainted and doing some groundwork and things like that, just so that they're in a good mental headspace the first time I get on them, because of course that first time you don't know them and I just want to set them up for success. Well, this has always worked very well for me, except for in Bounce's case. I put him on the lunge line as I normally would, and he sort of bounced around and he just did like he basically just took a bad step. I mean, you hear people say this, it really does happen. He just took a bad step and he sort of landed weird, and he broke his accessory carpal on his left front knee and broke it like clean in half. And I did think about surgery. I consulted actually with numerous surgeons, got several different quotes, but the surgery that's available for that is extremely expensive. It was going to be like $10,000, and it's risky. I know I have a friend who is the only person I know who's actually had it done outside the surgeons I'm talking to, and they had it done, and the horse came all the way back into work. And then once it was back in full work, it re-injured, the surgery failed, and the horse had to be euthanized. So I decided to go with medical management. And so Bounce did 5 or 6 months of basically stall rest, and we made like a medi pen. So like a super small round pen out by where all the other horses turn out. It was a round pen the size of a horse stall, but at least he got to feel like he went in and out with all the other horses. So he was never left behind in the barn, because let me tell you, that wasn't going to fly with this horse. There was not enough trazodone in the world to make that happen. But actually, he did that 6 months without any drugs. No trazodone, no nothing. Of course, there were days when he was very bouncy, and I was looking at him thinking, are you going to be a riding horse? Will I be able to ride you? Because of course that was pretty tough, keeping a 17 hand 3 and 4 year old quiet for 6 months. And to be honest, in the spring, end of winter, early spring, he really didn't look good. He was still unsound. He was miserable, of course, because he's been on box rest for so long, and he really wasn't moving well. And there was a couple of days where I thought, like, I have no choice. I'm going to have to euthanize this horse. It's inhumane to keep going. But then after talking with one of my vets and Billy, my husband, we just thought, let's just turn him out and see what happens. I was horrified that he was going to run around and, re-break his knee, but ultimately we were already in a horrible position. So it was kind of like, well, anything's worth a shot. And it was miraculous, literally like within a week of turning him out full time. I turned him out with 7 in a big grass field that's several acres large with no drugs, nothing, just turned him out. I might have given him some ACE the first time, I can't remember. But it's not like he was on a continuous amount of drugs, just put him out. And Seven was a great friend for him. But of course, he ran around and did all the things that you would think a young big horse that's been confined is going to do. And the only thing that happened is he got sounder and sounder every single day. It was unbelievable. And by mid-May, he was 100%. He had been for a couple of weeks, and I started him up. So now he's been in full work. He works 5 or 6 days a week, hard. I'm not babying him at all. And he's been doing that for several months. And about a month ago, I realized he's coming along so nicely that there's no reason why he shouldn't go do RRP. So he'll be going to that in October, and then he'll be on the market after that. And it's just an unbelievable story. You know, I love all of my horses. I get extremely attached to some of them. And with Bounce, I'm just so attached because of the whole journey that we've been on together, and, you know, super low lows. And now I'm just so happy for him. And honestly, when I first started riding him, it was rough because, you know, he's a huge, leggy, gangly baby horse who had absolutely zero muscle. I mean, nothing. The first time I cantered him, I remembered I just wanted it to stop and I never wanted to do it again. It was so bad. He basically couldn't canter. You just felt like you were falling down every step. But my friend Martha, who I go ride with, she helped me a lot. And he's just going beautifully. And now actually I can say that I look forward to riding this horse every day. Puts a smile on my face. He's getting stronger just in leaps and bounds. I started jumping him last week. He was incredible, such a natural jumper, definitely loves it. And I will continue to jump him, of course. And if I had had more time, you know, if he could have gotten started a couple months earlier, I would have been shooting him at RRP for eventing or something like that. But I just don't want to rush him. So he is going to continue jumping. But I didn't want to be rushed with the jumping at some hard deadline like the Retired Racehorse Project. So while that will continue, and I would like to get him out to some little starter trials or something, I thought that for the Retired Racehorse Project, it was in his best interest to not be in a rush to be jumping things. And so he's going to go do the dressage at RRP. And actually, I think he's going to do so well because he's coming along beautifully. He is, this is just a snapshot of where he is today doing a quick flat school. His canter work is coming along so well, so balanced, and he's really finding his strength, and he's just really becoming a fun horse to ride. He's very round and soft. You know, he wants to make the right shape. I'm riding him in a egg butt snaffle with a peanut. I've kind of tried a couple of different bits on him, but just this very basic bit is what he seems happiest in. He's just discovered stretching, so he's learning to stretch in all of his gaits. I like to start and end every ride similarly for him and Penelope, my other main ride right now, which is I like to start and end very stretching and bendy and relaxed, you know, stress-free. And so he's definitely getting it. And he's actually starting to find some stretch at the canter too, which is really awesome. Anyway, I just couldn't be more proud of this horse. I thought it would be a good idea to make a little video of where he's at now because I've been sparse on the video with him just because he's, you know, my plan for him kind of kept changing and then there was just no rush to get video, but I decided that there was no reason why not to because I'm so proud of where he is. And he's going to go do his first ever test at Plantation on August 5th. They're having one of their little dressage schooling days. So he's going to go do 2 tests. So that'll be a big day for Bounce.